All right, here we are with our somatic meditation session number 3. And in this session, we are going to focus on some postural areas. And so our posture has a lot to do in relation to our emotional state. And so emotionally, we are going to pay attention to our lumbar spine in this session, the scapula, so the tip of the shoulder blade, and the fibula, or the outer ankle bone, on the lower part of our body. And so how we carry ourselves says a whole lot about how we feel. And as we are kind of moving along in this journey, there will be some different areas that are going to bring up different things for each one of us. The lumbar spine is often referred to an area that has the home of a lot of repressed anger. And anger is one of those things that is societally not often acceptable to live out in the open, and there's a good reason for that in some ways, but in others, I really appreciate seeing a 5-year-old at the farmer's market have a good old hissy fit on on the street and just really living it out instead of repressing it and holding it in. And so, yeah, so many of us with low back pain, there's some things sometimes that need to be let through. And so, often our lumbar, if we are in a chronic sympathetic pattern, is tilted towards the bottom side. And so that meaning we're just kind of arching our back in order to get ready to propel ourselves forward and away from a threat. Whereas in sympathetic, our lumbar is more tilted towards midline. And so as I said, we can't really think our way into a parasympathetic state, but we can sense our way into it. And so it will be really nice to kind of go through the week and pay a little bit closer attention to these areas after the movement session and knowing, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Moving on to the next slide, we are going to focus on the scapula, and most referred to will be the tip of the scapula, which if you kind of run your hands up into your armpit and locate that little fleshy area that's sitting just below your armpit that's attached to your rib cage, and you run your fingers down and towards the back, you will feel the edge of the scapula there, and then you will feel the very tip if you keep running your fingers down to the lower part. And so the shoulder blade is a direct reflection of how we feel at any given moment. For me personally, I've been way more aware of how my shoulder blade is sitting and where it is sitting emotionally, depending on what is going on in my day and what my psychological state is representing. And the physiological alignment of my shoulder blade is often a direct reflection of how I feel. So it's a really interesting one to focus on. And then the third area of interest would be the fibula, or the outer ankle bone. And so the outer ankle has a lot to do with assertion of boundaries. And so our arms and legs, of course, are often used in fight flight to either get away from a threat or defend ourselves. But when we are in a chronic sympathetic pattern, the tip of the fibula will often be pulled back and behind the knee. And so many of us, including myself, who have had difficulties bending knees, like I do a lot of yoga, and I always notice one of my knees does not want to bend as well as the other. And So this is a good one to kind of map and focus on, and finding a little bit more of a parallel position of the fibula towards the shin, and things sort of moving in alignment with how they are optimally supposed to be. So I look forward to see you in the somatic meditation shortly, and I hope these little slides will make it easier for you to locate the areas we will be focusing on, and I will see you in a little bit.